66 million years ago. Tyrannosaurus rex, the king of the dinosaurs. Is extinct. Its kingdom reduced to dust and ash, and the Earth left alone to heal from the wounds of the asteroid impact. Rising from the ashes of this extinction, the mammals would come to dominate nearly every ecosystem across the Earth. But in the lands that once bore witness to the king of the dinosaurs, the mammals here produce a predator of near legendary status. One of the largest predators to walk the Earth since the end of the age of the dinosaurs. This animal, nearly the size of a modern-day bison, would dominate the continent from as far north as Oregon to as far south as Florida, striking fear into its prey as America's first super predator of the mammalian age and the largest terrestrial predator to stalk the lands of North America since the extinction of Tyrannosaurus rex. We at Epoch now would like to welcome you to join us as we explore the forgotten time of the Miocene and uncover the incredible story of one of the most bizarre predators who have ever lived. The legendary predator known as Daeodon, North America's hoofed hunter. The first records of this unique predator date all the way back to 1878, where famous American paleontologist Edward Drinker Cope described the animal based upon fossilized fragment of a mandible discovered in the John Day Formation in Oregon. Unfortunately, no records exist of who initially found the fossil specimen or when it was found, but it's not impossible to believe that Cope may have found the fossil himself. In his 1878 publication, he gave it the name Daeodon shoshinensis. The genus Daeodon is a combination of the Greek words Deos, meaning dreadful or hostile, and Don, meaning teeth. The specific name shoshinensis refers to the indigenous people known as the Shoshone, indicating that the holotype specimen was more than likely found within their territory. Therefore, the whole scientific name means Shoshone's hostile or dreadful tooth. Upon its description, Cope classified it as a perseodactyl and initially believed it to be a close relative to the brontosphere Minotus, now known as Megacerops. This highly outdated classification would last all the way until 1905 upon the description of a new species of Eleutherium, now known as Entelodon, was found in the same rock layers. In the same publication, paleontologist Olaf August Peterson changed the phylogenetic position of Daeodon as a member of Entelodontidae. By the 1930s, many different species of Daeodon has since been described. The Entelodon from John Day, E. Culkinsley, was later assigned as a new Daeodon species, alongside other new species named at the time such as D. minto and D. minor. However, paleontologists began to question the validity of some of these species and additional Entelodon taxa. The earliest of these publications was made by George Gaylord Simpson in 1945. The taxa in question at the time were named by Cope's rival Othniel Charles Marsh in 1893 and Peterson in 1905. Marsh's taxon Amodon and Peterson's taxon Dinohyus were considered synonyms to Daeodon in 1998 by Spencer G. Lucas and colleagues. Dinohyus, the most well-known synonym of Daeodon, became important to the geographic range of this taxon, which by this point has tremendously expanded to the southern United States, the Midwest, and the East Coast, being found in California, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, the Carolinas, and New Jersey. They are also now officially known from Agate Springs and the surrounding formations located in Nebraska, Wyoming, and South Dakota. This concludes that Daeodon had a near-continental range that stretched across the U.S. It is additionally the southernmost entelodon known in the New World thanks to its fragmentary fossil record in Florida. In the same year, paleontologists Scotty Faust and Ted Thrimd found that the taxon Bucyrus, named by Cope in 1879, is found to not only be a synonym to Daeodon, but a potential second species named Daeodon humerosum. The specific name combines the words humerus and the suffix osis, which together means prominent shoulders. Although its status as a second species has since remained, the authors of the paper do note that the anatomical differences in both species could actually come from individual variation or sexual dimorphism, so D. humerosum may become a synonym to the type species one day. In conclusion, Daeodon has a rich taxonomic and classification history in paleontology. It's one of the many members of its kind that show us how widespread these impressive predators became. Daeodon had many unique traits, setting it apart from other relatives within its family. To start out, some of the first differences can be seen in its dential features, in that they were not chisel-shaped, unlike other related entelodonts. Additionally, the 3 pairs of incisors were also rather robust as far as entelodonts go. Along with this, Daeodon also possessed smaller and more distinguishable features in its skull. For instance, its jugal phalanges were much shorter when compared to related genera like Archaeotherium, and had a reduced chin tubercally, giving the lower jaw a more streamlined profile. Differences aside, Daeodon also had many similarities to its family members. For example, it had a rather short neck when compared to its massive skull, indicating that it was more than likely supported by the muscles and tendons connected to the thoracic vertebral spine similar to rhinos and bison of today. In regards to its physical size, Daeodon shoshonensis is among some of the largest entelodonts to have ever existed. Based upon the material preserved within the fossil record, individual skulls seem to have had an average length of about 1 meter or 3 feet, indicating a far larger size of this animal compared to other members of its family. Along with this, shoulder heights of these entelodonts measure around roughly 1.8 meters or 5.8 feet tall, with an estimated weight of a minimum of 750 kilograms or 1,650 pounds, making Daeodon roughly similar in size to the modern American bison. While this titanic predator dwarfed many of its relatives, it may have potentially been beaten by the Asian Paraentelodon, based upon isolated molars found in the Republic of Georgia. While Daeodon's size was more than impressive for its time, it would not have been alone, and indeed this animal would have shared its sheer power and ferocity with other members of its intimidating family. Daeodon belongs to an extinct family of hoofed mammals known as entelodonts. This family, often nicknamed as the Hell Pigs, first appeared as early as the Middle to Late Eocene. Considering that these predators are hoofed mammals, entelodonts actually belong to an order known as Artiodactyla, otherwise known as even-toed ungulates, which are named after the even number of hooves or toes on their forelimbs and hindlimbs, and include animals such as bovids, deer, and even whales. Although they share several nicknames in reference to pigs and were initially considered as an extinct group of pigs for the longest time, entelodonts were later found to not actually be closely tied to the Suinen suborder. Strangely enough, according to a 2009 publication, entelodonts were found to actually belong to a total clade within Artiodactyla known as Cetenodontomorpha, which was described in that same paper. Cetenodontomorpha contains many unexpected family members not to be found as close relatives prior to 2009. line. As of 2023, with the publication of Telodontilus, Cetanodontomorpha is split into two different suborders, both of which share a common ancestor. The extant Whippomorpha contains all living and extinct members of the whale and hippo family trees, making them very closely related to one another. The other completely extinct suborder, which has no name as of 2025, contains the family groups Helohidae, Entelodontidae, and other primitive and advanced members outside of both families, such as the basal Cyamotherium and the Entelodon-like anomaly Androsarchus. Entelodontidae is considered to be the most advanced family tree in this unknown suborder. Entelodonts themselves are a rather successful group of predatory mammals. First appearing in Asia from early genera like Telodontilus and Brachyhyops, they quickly spread across Eurasia by the Oligocene. Other members like Entelodon itself, Paraentelodon, and Cypritherium thrived across the Old World. However, thanks to a land bridge, Entelodons managed to spread into North America, leading to the rise of the New World Entelodonts like Archaeotherium and eventually Daeodon. Interestingly, while the ancestors of both whales and hippos developed aquatic lifestyles, Entelodonts and their ancestors retained their terrestrial lifestyles, and as they evolved from small-hoofed mammals, their teeth and jaws became larger and stronger, resulting in their eventual predatory characteristics. This gradual change in skull shape can especially be seen with members within Helohidae and Androsarchus. Overall, Daeodon has a rather bizarre but diverse lineage. Instead of relocating to the seas like their distant relatives would go on to do, they stayed on land and managed to evolve into some of the largest terrestrial predators in the Cenozoic. Entelodontidae served as a strong example in the history of life of how much a family tree can persevere. In this case, their perseverance allowed them to eventually become the apex predators of the Northern Hemisphere. Daeodon was endemic to North America, living from the early Oligocene and all the way through the early Miocene epoch. Appearing after the otherwise tropical and warm Eocene epoch, the Oligocene is categorized by a global cooling of the planet, only to warm up again following the start of the Miocene, though not to the same caliber as the prior Eocene epoch. The habitats in which Daeodon thrived in were heavily forested areas and expansive prairies, both of which provide an excellent variety of prey items for its diet. However, Daeodon was perhaps better adapted to life in the open plains than the forests due to its highly active nature and how its body evolved to be more suited to running in great bursts of speed, similar to the more basal Entelodon Archaeotherium. Both the John Day and Agate Springs were home to a large haul of flora. In the John Day Formation, the Miocene forest consists of elms, walnut trees, and maples. Grapevines were prominent within the formation as well as Katsura, Elder, and Dawn Redwood. The Agate fossil beds during the same time also housed more grassland flora species like prairie sandred, blue grama, little bluestem, needle, and threadgrass. Wildflowers were also abundant within the prairie environment, such as lupin, spiderwort, western wallflower, and finally various species of sunflower. As for Daeodon's range, fossils have been found across the United States, from Oregon to Nebraska, and even as far south as Florida. This would mean that much of the United States was full of forested and grassland habitats that Daeodon called home. Such a vast amount of land would also be home to a variety of wildlife that shared these environments with Daeodon. While it would have undoubtedly been the largest predator in its range, Daeodon didn't seem to be hypercarnivorous, but rather omnivorous, much like hogs and even other Entelodons, with fossil evidence suggesting that they fed on nuts, roots, and vines. Studies by Ruslan Believ et al. Suggest that it's likely possible that Daeodon shared similar vegetational diets to modern-day peccaries, hippos, bears, and wild boars. Evidence from the Agate Springs fossil beds in Nebraska shows signs of transitioning between wet and dry seasons to which Daeodon would have had to experience annually. This means that Daeodon would have endured many varied obstacles within the changing seasons. With that said, it is quite possible that Daeodon relied on grapevines as a source of hydration and nutritional supplements during the toughest of droughts. This makes Daeodon a very resourceful animal even during times of hardship. And of course, one of the more famous diets to note is that Daeodon is known to have also eaten meat and even bones. Daeodon's carnivorous behavior is very much well debated. However, evidence of tooth wear suggests that Daeodon may have had a bone-crushing bite, being able to crush bone and easily tear off meat. To add more to this, it is likely that Daeodon not only hunted its prey, but was also a scavenger when the opportunity arose. However, in 2001, it was argued by Scotty Voss that due to the immense size of Daeodon's head, the weight would have caused a hindrance to the animal's capability to take on large prey. Ross concludes that Daeodon was to some degree a scavenger, but according to the abstract papers in volume 19 of the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology, Ross's interpretation is framed for questioning due to Daeodon having a bison-like anatomical build for running, along with the stereoscopic vision that most predators possess, and evidence of predatory behavior from other entelodonts. All in all, this brings into question whether or not Daeodon was an active hunter, an opportunistic scavenger, or perhaps maybe even both, not unlike the debate of its Mesozoic North American predecessor, Tyrannosaurus rex. Despite said controversy, Daeodon may have hunted a wide variety of prey items, preying on various animals such as the Calgathera meropus and the Lasmopherine rhinos such as Minoceras and Diceratherium. Other animals that may have fallen prey to it include the four-horned antelope-like Syndioceras, Oreodonts such as Myrichius and Promyricochirus, horse relatives such as Pyrrhippus and Merychippus, and the camelids Stenomylus and Oxydactylus. There was also the prairie dog-like beaver Paleocastor, best known for its unique fossilized burrows, nicknamed the Devil's Corkscrew. Of course, Daeodon was not without its fair share of competition, as there was a plethora of other predators that lived in North America, including the remains of various amphicyonids, otherwise known as the bear dogs, that were excavated in various Miocene-dated fossil sites. In Agate Springs, there's the small Diphonodon and the lion-sized Yesingerinia. In the John Day Formation of Central Oregon, Daeodon fossils were found alongside the earliest North American species of Amphicyon, a Galushite. Due to its temporal range, however, Daeodon was also likely to have encountered all known New World species of Amphicyon, including A. Galushite's descendant A. frendens, and the far larger A. ingens, and even Florida's A. longiramus. While Daeodon had to potentially compete against many other predators living in the same ecosystems, they may also have to compete against their own kind for dominance. Fossils also suggest that just like other fellow members of Telodontidae, Daeodon may have participated in interspecific face biting. With such a powerful and bone-shattering bite, the marks and scars remain on many entelodont skulls. Even more interesting is that Frost's study on Archaeotherium suggests that perhaps the mandibular tubercles acted as protection against this kind of confrontation. These jugal protections also exist as a potential form of sexual dimorphism on animals like Archaeotherium and even smaller Daeodons. If this truly is a type of sexual dimorphism, then it is also believed that they served as a form of display similar to forest hogs that use their jugals as a type of chemical communication. The ecosystems that supported Daeodon helped this animal become a very opportunistic and terrifying predator, as well as a resourceful omnivore that sustained itself even during the harshest times within the formations it lived in, providing a niche similar to modern forest hogs and peccaries. Able to feast upon anything that could sustain it, Daeodon was certainly a voracious beast within its environment. To add to this, Daeodon was also in a world where it had to compete with many predators of similar apex status, but regardless of the confrontations, Daeodon was certainly a force to be reckoned with, combined with the active nature, the muscular bison-like build, and jaws unlike any other within its habitat. Daeodon truly was a fearsome animal to not only the bear dogs and large herbivores, but even its own kind. Daeodon has made a few appearances in many forms of paleomedia since its discovery, primarily in the form of documentaries, with its first appearance being in the 1994 series Paleo World in episode 10 of season 4 titled Valley of the Uglies, being referred to by its now outdated and synonymized name, DinoHyas. Nearly 10 years later since its last appearance, Daeodon then made its first major one in 2007 National Geographic docuseries Prehistoric Predators in the episode Killer Pig. In its star episode, it was the main focus animal within the second half of the episode, covering its ecological niche within its environment, while the first half of the episode was focused more towards its close cousin, Archaeotherium. Along with this, the episode of Prehistoric Predators also incorrectly refers to Daeodon as Dinohyus. Afterwards, it makes its next appearance 2 years later in 2009 Discovery Channel documentary Monsters Resurrected in the episode Bear Dog. While the episode is predominantly focused on its competitor, Amphicyon Engines, it is shown to be outcompeted by the said bear dog and is driven into an extinction. This is currently the last time that a documentary would use the incorrect name Dinohyus. Following Monsters Resurrected, Daeodon wouldn't make another appearance in a documentary until 13 years later upon the release of a preview for the upcoming web docuseries Forgotten Bloodlines Agate. In the teaser, Daeodon is depicted making an attempt to hunt an injured Stenomylus, but unfortunately fails. As for video games, Daeodon has even made smaller numbers of spotlights, the first of which being 2012's mobile game Jurassic Park Builder as a limited time animal in the Glacier Park. 5 years later in 2017, finds Daeodon making its debut in the Ark franchise within the first game, Ark Survival Evolved, as an uncommon tameable creature found within the upper half of the island. It also makes a later appearance in the sequel game, Ark Survival Ascended, yet another 5 years later in 2023. In the same year, Daeodon makes an appearance in Animal Revolt Battle Simulator as a low-ranked unit from the Prehistoric Mammals pack. Additionally, Daeodon already has a model made for it for the 2022 part-building game Prehistoric Kingdom with 3 skin variants. However, it is currently unknown when it will be added into the game. A possible appearance of Daeodon was also in the 2012 arcade game Big Buck HD within the prehistoric level whilst hunting the Irish elk, otherwise known as Megaloceros. Overall, Daeodon has a rather small coverage of appearances throughout the years since its discovery, but hopefully in time this incredible animal will make more notable spotlights as time goes on. Daeodon was a remarkable and highly successful animal, being among one of the largest entelodonts ever discovered. It was able to dominate in the Oligocene's equivalent to the African Serengeti, where many different kinds of animals fought for the role of apex predator. Having lived for almost 14 million years, it represented the high point of entelodont evolution. Not since the dinosaurs has North America produced such an awe-inspiring predator. However, Daeodon's reign over the American West would tragically come to an end during the early Miocene. Although the exact nature of Daeodon's extinction remains a mystery, one thing is rather certain. Despite many modern depictions of Daeodon being outcompeted by bear dogs, this may not have actually been the case. The eponymous Amphicyon lived alongside Daeodon for approximately 2.9 million years, and even after the largest species, A. ingens, replaced Daeodon as the apex predator, it too would go extinct about 14 million years ago. Because of this, it appears that the most likely cause of its extinction is climate change. Daeodon would disappear from the fossil record at the beginning of the Barstovian North American stage, which was a faunal turnover characterized by the dispersal of various animal groups ranging from horses to pikas, Proboscideans, and other large carnivorans such as the Borophagans and Plithocyon into North America. Along with that, the disappearance of forested habitats and the increase of open plain grasslands may have also contributed to Daeodon's decline and eventual extinction. Daeodon's disappearance would also mark the end of the entelodont lineage, as it was the last representative of this rather peculiar family of ungulates. Like Andrewsarchus before it, Daeodon and other large members of its kin reigned during a time in the Cenozoic where hoofed predators were not only the norm, but at the top of the food chain, and with its passing, the era of the hoofed hunters came to a close, as the age of the dogs and the cats began to dawn. Even though Daeodon and its kind would die out at the beginning of the Miocene, the rest of its clade would persist to the modern day where they would dominate the waterways and oceans of our planet. Those being the hippopotamuses and the cetaceans. And for the next 15 million years, these spectacular creatures would be able to adapt to the upcoming Ice Age and become a testament of how successful mammals have become since the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs. However, in the last few centuries, these animals that managed to dominate the oceans and waterways of our planet would face new challenges that threaten their survival. Today, hippos and cetaceans are in danger of climate change, pollution, habitat destruction, damming, and hunting by humans. And if nothing is done to protect these animals from these crises, they may even disappear from our planet forever. However, even though the future seems bleak, there is hope. In 1986, commercial whale hunting had been banned worldwide, and as a result, global populations of whales have rebounded. And global efforts to remove trash from our rivers, lakes, and oceans of our planet has also further helped the resurgence of these animals. Although there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to ensure the survival of these incredible animals for future generations to come, as long as we do our part to slow down the effects of climate change, that future will become a reality. Even though this animal would not live to see this new age in the history of the mammals, the legacy it would leave behind is still quite a remarkable one. Not since the age of the dinosaurs has nature produced such a bizarre and fearsome predator. And no predator in North America during the Cenozoic before or after would live for as long as this Entelodon did. Its discovery would not only give paleontologists a glimpse to what predators dominated the continent after the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs, but it would also lead to the discovery of a brand new group of predatory mammals that ruled the northern hemisphere for 21 million years. And of course, the name of this incredible animal was Daeodon, North America's hoofed hunter. Thank you all so much for watching our video on the massive American predator Daeodon. This video was incredibly fun to make, and we hope you all enjoy watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. This video was directed and narrated by myself, LegitEliminator. It was written by CrimsonAcro, SpinoDragon145, The Primal Earth, RangoGamer, TheDinosaurHunter, and myself. This video was edited by MikeMC9797, SpinoDragon145, CrimsonAcro, RangoGamer, Straight Up Murph, The Primal Earth, and myself. The graphic designers for this video were Straight Up Murph for the concept art, TheDinosaurHunter for the thumbnail artwork, and Mephilas Seijin101 for the Daeodon animation. And lastly, the research team for this video was SpinoDragon145, CrimsonAcro, TheDinosaurHunter, and myself. Additionally, this video was sponsored by you, the viewers. In fact, we would like to give a special shout out to our first ever supporter on Patreon, Sam Allred, for supporting the channel and helping us to create these videos that we all love making so much. If you guys would like to support us, feel free to head on over to our Patreon page, where we will be posting updates on future videos. If you would like to support us in another way, make sure to share our videos, as sharing our content is the most effective way to help the channel grow. That all said, thank you so much for watching, and we can't wait to see you all in the next video.